Getting stuck in skateboarding is like one of the worst things that can ever happen. Seriously, I know the feeling of not being able to learn tricks for a while, and it just really sucks. Well, in today's video, I'm gonna go over 5 tricks that you can learn when you're stuck in skateboarding. So this video is mainly geared towards the beginner and like kind of intermediate stage. It's not really like advanced or anything, but watch till the end of the video because I'll have an extra bonus tip of something that'll actually help you learn stuff when you're stuck. So make sure you stay all the way to the end. Make sure you follow my socials, my Instagram and my TikTok. I know some of you guys hate TikTok, but make sure you follow those. Let's get right into it. Okay, so the first trick, the NoComply frontside 180. So for this trick, like I really recommend this because all you really need to have to get this down is a frontside 180, but you don't even really need to have that. It's only so you're like used to, you know, doing a 180 motion and rolling switch. So basically I have a whole trick tip on this separately. If you want to view that, there's a card in the top right corner, but I'm just gonna do like a little quick trick tip. So what I do is for my foot position, my back foot, I put it in between the curvature of the tail and the front, the back set of bolts. So like this line right here where the curve just starts on the tail, that's where you want your whole foot. And you want to like put the flat bottom of your foot there so you can actually just scoop it, not like that. So you can scoop it, oh my goodness. So you can scoop it like this. That's what I was supposed to do. But basically it just helps you get more leverage on the board with keeping your foot over it and turning it. So basically all you have to get used to is keeping your foot in that position. Have your front foot just ready to step off to the side, right? And then you're just scooping and turning. And really make sure you're kind of like leaning forward as you do this. Don't lean too far back or you might slip out. Basically all I can really say is this, is just really make sure you actually try to scoop down hard. Make sure it actually scrapes against the ground. And don't worry about how fast you do. You can do like a slow one, like you can just step off like, and then jump on, and then just work your way up to getting it faster. But I think the NoComply 180 is a fairly easy trick to learn. It might be a little bit difficult at first, but once you get it down, it's really fun to do. So next is the Fakie Big Spin, and all you really need for this is just a half cab and a, you know, shove it or fakie shove it. Those are pretty much the only tricks you really need to know. You don't really have to know these individually, but they'll just help you overall. So this was really one of the easiest tricks for me to learn, only because you basically just think of it as a fakie shove it, but you're just turning your shoulders too. There's no need to do anything extra. You're really just doing, like look here, you do a shove it while turning. And the board's basically gonna do a 360 because you're doing a shove it motion while doing a 180 like rotation with your shoulders on top of that. So it should end up looking like this when you throw it around. And that's like honestly a common issue that happens. So with the flippage, the only way you can really fix that is make sure your front foot hovers over the board during the entire trick so it keeps it stable, because if you ever like lose contact while it's spinning, it could possibly twist and fall over. So first, really just practice getting that step with, you know, flipping your board around like that. Make sure you can get that motion down. There's really no way to really explain it. It's just you gotta kind of feel it out. It's one of those tricks that just, you know, you feel it out and it works, and it just comes to commitment after that. So like I said, you also want to wind up your shoulders because you want to almost be like turn around with your shoulders this much before you even do the shove it, only because it's really going to help with the momentum, because once you just throw a scoop in there while you're turning, it's really going to throw that extra 180 in the board. So like I'm winding up and I turn all the way so I can actually get all the way around. So yeah, just make sure you lean forward, throw your shoulders in it, and really just try to commit to it. And it's perfectly fine if you toe drag. It happens when you're learning. Then honestly, once you get this trick down, if you had the other trick down before, you can do a NoComply to get into the fakie stance, and then you can do a fakie big spin. So trick number 3 is a boneless. So basically, what you're gonna be doing is when you stand on the board, right? So it's different if you're in different stances. If you're a regular stance, which means your left foot's forward, you're gonna be stepping off with your left foot, right? And you're gonna be grabbing the board with your right hand. That is what you're gonna do. And then you're basically gonna jump with it. You can even stick it out if you a little bit if you want to, and then you just jump on it. It's as simple as that. It's pretty much just commitment. if you're goofy, right foot forward, right? Step off with your right foot, grab with your left hand if you're goofy, and then vice versa if you're regular. So left foot down, grab with your right hand. And one thing I like to do on my bonelesses is make sure like when I'm popping that it hits the ground. So like when I step off, I really make sure it pops and I like scrape it up instead of just, you know, just grabbing it up without it popping, just because it doesn't really look as cool and sound as cool. So really just make sure that you kind of like, you can even like grab it before stepping off. That's what I do. And then you just, boom, it puts it in this position here, right? Grab it up, jump on it. So I know a lot of people might think like, oh, this is kind of like a stupid trick, but it's really underrated if, you know, you're just starting to skate. It's like something new instead of just like, you know, normal flip tricks, ollies, 180s, whatever. It kind of adds like a new aspect to it. So that's why I like doing it. So you can even get a little bit fancy with it. You can just throw a 180 with it. Honestly, I think sometimes it's a little easier to do that only because you're kind of going with the momentum of the turn. So you're going to do the same thing, right? But you're just turning with it and then jumping on it. So fourth trick, it is nollie shoves. You can basically do it any way. It's almost like a backside pop shove. It's actually called a nollie front shove because you're shoving it in the front side direction. Or you can do a nollie back shove, which is pretty much almost like a front shove motion, but you're doing it nollie. Oop. So for the nollie shove, it is like, it's pretty much the same as a normal shove. Like I mentioned in my why you can't shove it video, what you're gonna do is you're just treating it, you know, the opposite as you would for the pop shove it, because now your front foot is gonna be your popping foot and your other foot is gonna be, you know, kind of like your guiding foot. So if you think of it this way, like if I'm doing the nollie shove it, my back foot here is actually gonna be the one hovering over it during the shove it motion. So I'll kind of show you real quick. So watch this foot. This was my back foot, but I'm shoving it with my front foot this time. So I'm just gonna hover over it. It's basically the same thing. So you just wanna be able to put pressure down with your popping foot. Make sure you do that while you scoop. And pretty much it's pretty simple. It's hard to explain it. It's pretty much you just press down and scoop back with it. The reason I said nollie shoves are, you know, a trick to learn when you're stuck is because it's almost like a fakie shove. Sometimes fakie shoves are easier because, you know, when you're rolling backwards, it's easier to get it in this direction since you already have momentum going that way. It is the same thing for a nollie shove because the way you're popping and bringing it around, you're already going this direction. So pretty much these tricks are very self-explanatory. It's just you gotta mess around with your foot positions. So just mimic what you would do for a fakie shove or a normal shove, but just with the opposite foot stance. And you know, pretty much since you're rolling regular, it shouldn't be too difficult like you're doing a switch shove or anything. It's kind of going with the momentum almost like a fakie shove. And it goes pretty much the same thing for the nollie back shove. Just mess around with your foot position. I also put it in like this back pocket here, like I'm rolling, and just kind of like scoot it. And you might have to like jump backwards for this one, only because like when you're scooting it, it might jump further back like that. So make sure you actually lean back and jump with it. Now for trick number 5, this isn't the last one. I'll have a bonus tip after this, so make sure you keep watching. But it is the Shuvit Revert. So all you really need to have down for this trick is a good shove it. You don't even have to pop them or anything. You can do both. It really doesn't matter. But you just have to make sure you can shove it almost effortlessly. And I don't mean, you know, you don't have to get it every try, but just have shove-its be really easy for you. You see? If you can just shove it without really thinking, and you can kind of like adjust what you're doing while shoving, then it's a good time to actually learn the Shuvit Revert. So basically what you're doing, also, I would recommend trying to learn your shove-its with an exaggerated front catch. So you don't have to do it too hard, but just, that was horrible. But if you can land with your front foot comfortably like this, you know, doesn't have to be super exaggerated, but that'll definitely help you, because what you need to do for the pop Shuvit Revert is you're gonna do a regular shove it, right? But before, you know, all wheels hit the ground or anything, you're gonna shove it, you're gonna catch it on the front part. So basically like your front foot's gonna catch it on the nose, and then you're gonna scoot it backwards. So one practice step you can really do to get into this is, you know, practice shove it and try to land more on the nose. So see like how I landed on the nose purposely. Really try to get that. The sweet spot is almost like the NoComply spot, where, you know, the nose starts to curve, or like the nose or the tail. So in between the tip of the tail and the bolts, like this little curvature spot, that's where you want to be able to catch it. So I would say just practice that, landing on the nose a bunch of times. So after you get that down, I'd say the next practice step is to, you know, go on your nose and go in like the motion where you would scoot the board back after you shove it. So just slide it like that, or you can pivot around, doesn't really matter. But get used to that motion with going on the nose and then turning in front of you. After you get those two steps down, you're pretty much gonna, you know, shove it, land on the nose, and then pivot around. When you put those all together, it should kind of look like this. No, not that. So when you put it all together, it should look like this. And just know it's a little hard to do it when stationary. I definitely recommend to try this while rolling, because it definitely helps you with the momentum side of it. See, I can't even twist it while standing still. Also, another really helpful tip with this is sometimes you don't even have to do the full shove it and then revert. What you can do is pretty much like almost shove it at 90, catch it on the nose at this part when it's 90 degrees, like in the turn. So you shove it, catch it at the 90-degree angle, and then push it back. That's like a little cheat way, but you know, definitely work your way up to getting the full shove it. But as like a secret tip to that is just, you know, learning the 90 first. So like almost not flipping it all the way. Goodness, why is there a bug on my face? There's too many bugs right here. All right, let's see if I could do it real quick with doing it the 90-degree way. See, I didn't even turn it the whole way, I just turned it 90 degrees. So pretty much like I said, you know, you're gonna shove it, catch it on the nose while you're still kind of like hovering in the air with it, and then pivot back really quickly. And really make sure you're using both your shoulders and your waist to kind of do that last turning part. So now for the bonus step, the secret to learning tricks when you're stuck in skateboarding is to go back to different stances and learn the tricks you already have. So things I recommend is like, you know, doing a fakie shove it, you know, nollie shove it, even like a switch shove it. It definitely helps you if you're stuck on learning your normal tricks to learn fakie, switch, regular, nollie, all the stances. Now it's definitely going to be easier trying to learn, you know, the basic tricks in the other stances. It might get a little hard when you're getting more to intermediate and advanced, but I would say definitely work on nollie and fakie for sure. Switch might be a little tough, but just try your tricks nollie and fakie. So, you know, you can do fakie ollie, fakie 180s, fakie shove it's, and the same thing you could do like a nollie 180s, nollie shove it's, and it kind of gives you more room to learn more tricks. And you can kind of like even do the big spins too in nollie or fakie. But yeah, that's pretty much going to sum it up for the 5 tricks you can learn, you know, when you're stuck in skateboarding. So really make sure you try those. Let me know if you need any help. Follow me on Instagram at SeanBrown99. I do skate supports on there. You know, it is getting a little busy, but I definitely will get to it. Just be patient and I'll get to your trick. Otherwise than that, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Peace.